Okay, a very good morning to all of you, online, offline students. So we were discussing this chapter, the Browning version by Terence Rattigan. I will just summarize the part that we did the other day and then we'll finish up the chapter. So this chapter basically talks about a conversation. This is a play and it's an excerpt, it's a part taken from the Browning version, and it talks about a particular character. The central character here is Crocker Harris, who doesn't appear in any of the scenes, but he's talked about, and we get to know about him from the conversation that goes on between his student, and the name of his student is Taplow, and another teacher, a science teacher, and who's comparatively very young, and that teacher is Frank. So Taplow has been asked to stay back for school that day, and why is he asked to stay back? Because yes, he was on leave for the previous week. He just skipped one day, and as a kind of a punishment, he's been asked to stay back. Okay, and then a conversation starts between the two, the student Taplow and the teacher Frank. And Taplow says that he's not interested in the kind of Greek that he's studying. Basically, he says he's not interested in the manner in which it is being taught, and he says he's more interested in taking up science. And he says if he gets his result right, if he gets a favorable result, then definitely he would opt for science. And then the teacher Frank is surprised that Taplow doesn't know anything about his result, because unlike Crocker Harris, the other masters, what do? They tell the result beforehand, before the day that is assigned for the same. Okay, so and from this kind of conversation, this is the first thing that we get to know about Crocker Harris, and that thing is that he follows rules and regulations to the core by heart. If it is assigned that the result would be disclosed on one particular day, then he waits for that day and he lets the headmaster, as is the rule of the school, he lets the headmaster disclose it to the students. Then we get to know about other things about Crocker Harris, and one of those things is that he's a very strict teacher. But Taplow goes on to say that he is not a sadist. And who is a sadist? Yes, a person who loves torturing the others, in spite of the fact that the students dread him. But it is not because that he is a sadist. And Taplow feels that if he had been a sadist, then it would have been better. At least that it would show that he had certain feelings. But now he says he's all shriveled up. He's squeezed up inside a nut. He doesn't show any emotions. He doesn't show any sentiments, and he says that he's all shriveled up inside a nut. Okay, and he goes on to the extent of saying that he's hardly human. Then he corrects himself and he says that in front of another teacher, I am saying such things about my own teacher. I shouldn't go that far. And he feels sorry also for the same. And in spite of all these things, that the students, his students, Crocker Harris's students, they love him a lot. And Frank is envious of this fact. We were at this point when he says that I envy him. Okay, and he says. He says, I envy him the kind of effect he seems to have on the children, on the students. This is on page number 53. We have to continue from page number 54. So he says he's jealous of the fact that in spite of the fact that he's such a strict teacher, in spite of the fact that he's made this particular student stay back in school, and that too on the last day of the term. In spite of this fact, the students love him a lot. They like him. So he's envious of him, and he says on page number 54, we were at the fourth dialogue, wherein Taplow says, Mr. Crocker Harris, the funny thing is that in spite of everything here means what? In spite of all these things that the teacher, all these qualities that the teacher has, the kind of characteristics that he has, like he is very, yes, the kind of personality that he's having, like he's very strict. No, he doesn't tell the result to the students beforehand. Then he doesn't mix up with the students. He's not friendly with them. He doesn't like being liked. In spite of all these things, the funny thing is that he says, I do rather like him. I can't help it. It is not in my hands. Such an awe he has, such an inspirational figure he is for the students. And sometimes I think he sees it, and that seems to shrivel him up even more. What does he see? He sees it means what? Just look at this particular dialogue that we are doing, page number 54 of Taplow. He says, sometimes I think he sees it, and that seems to shrivel him up even more. What does he see? He says, sometimes he sees it. He sees what? That students, yes, you're right, that students like him. He sees it when he realizes it, that students like him. Then what does it, what effect does it have upon him? It shrivels him up even more. He squeezes up inside the nut even more. Okay, I am sure you are exaggerating. He says, I don't think so. I think you are just making up things on your own and you are exaggerating things. No, sir, I am not. He says this is not at all any kind of exaggeration. And he gives an example to prove his point. He says, in form, the other day, he made one of his classical jokes. While he was teaching us Latin, he made a joke inside the class. Okay. And he made one of his classical jokes. Of course, nobody laughed because nobody understood it. Why did not anybody laugh? Because nobody followed the joke. They could not understand it. It was Latin, and nobody was so good at it, nobody would understand it. Myself included, even I could not understand, I could not make a head or tail out of that joke. Still, I knew he had meant it as funny, so I laughed. He says, because the teacher had made a joke, and out of courtesy for the teacher, and out of politeness, general politeness, I just laughed because it was meant to be funny. So I just laughed in order to just please him so that he shouldn't feel bad that I made a joke in the class and nobody is laughing at the joke. Okay. So he says, in spite of, so out of ordinary common politeness and feeling a bit sorry. Why did he feel sorry for the teacher? Because nobody laughed at the joke. So, in spite of this, I feeling a bit sorry for him for having made a poor joke. I laughed. Now I can't remember what the joke was, but suppose I make it. Now you laugh. Okay, he says, imagine yourself as Tableau, and I will imitate my teacher, Crocker Harris, as he has been doing earlier also. He says, just imagine me as Crocker Harris and think of yourself as whom? As Tableau. Okay, I am making a joke and you laugh here. Okay, so let's just recreate that scene. This is what Tableau wants to do. And Frank naturally laughs. And Taplow says in a very gentle and a throaty, with a kind of husky and heavy voice that the teacher is having, he says, Taplow, you laughed at my little joke? I noticed. I must confess that I am pleased at the advance your Latin has made, since you so readily have understood what the rest of the form did not. Okay, so he called me up in front of all the students and he said, I'm very happy and I'm very pleased at the kind of advance your Latin has made. Why? Because nobody understood the joke and you have understood, and that is why you are laughing. Perhaps now you would be good enough to explain it to them. Now come here in front of everybody and explain the joke to everyone so that all get a chance to share your pleasure. Okay, so this is how he insulted me, and this is how he made me feel embarrassed. Okay, so this shows that he doesn't like being liked. I tried to just please him. I tried to be courteous. I tried to be polite. Because nobody had laughed at his joke, so I felt that he must be feeling very bad. He must. I felt sorry for him, and look, this is what he did to me. Okay, so this is how he explains it to the other teacher, Frank. And then what happens? The door upright is pushed open and Millie Crocker Harris enters. Now, who is Millie Crocker Harris? Millie Crocker Harris is Crocker Harris's wife. Okay, she is a thin woman in her late 30s, rather more smartly dressed than the general run of schoolmasters' wives. So, unlike the other schoolmasters' wives, she's pretty well dressed up. Okay, and she is wearing a cape and she carries a shopping basket. And she closes the door and then stands by the screen watching Taplow and Frank. So both of them are just discussing this very scene while the wife of the teacher gets in and they don't notice her in the first instance. It is a few seconds before they notice her. And Frank is still in that mode, and he says, "Come along, Taplow." He's still continuing in the same mode, and he says, "Just come along." And he moves slowly above the desk. "Do not be so selfish as to keep a good joke to yourself." Now Frank is here behaving as Crocker Harris, and he's telling Taplow to tell that joke, okay, and let's just tell the others. And suddenly he breaks off and notices Millie, the wife of Crocker Harris, and he says, "Oh, good Lord, what are we doing here? No, what are we doing? What are they doing? They are mimicking. They are imitating the teacher just behind his back." Frank turns quickly and seems infinitely relieved at seeing Millie. Oh, and then when he notices Millie, then he's relieved that it is not Crocker Harris but his wife. And he says, "Oh, hello." Without giving any kind of expression, she just says hello, and she comes down to the sideboard and she puts her basket on it. Taplow moving up to left of Frank, and he just whispers frantically because Taplow is, as it is, afraid of the teacher, as it is, he dreads the teacher. Now he's committed a big blunder, he feels. He's committed, and what is a blunder? He was imitating his own teacher while his wife was standing there looking at what was going on. Okay, so he is frantically, he whispers into Frank's ears, "Do you think she heard?" And he just shakes his head comfortingly. Millie takes off her cape and hangs it on the hall stand. "I think she did," because she was there for quite a lot of time, quite a long time. So she is, "I think she did. She was standing there quite a time." Nonsense. If she did, and she tells him, "There goes my remove." So what does he mean by this?